G'day, guys, and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to be doing the Essendon Bombers team review going into the AFL 2026 SuperCoach season. Basically, if you haven't seen the other four videos, go check them out when you can. Basically, I'm just doing team reviews, just going to be talking about mostly every player. I'll be talking about some very briefly because they're not going to be SuperCoach relevant, or some guys that will be relevant to Supercoach. So I'll go into more depth of why you should go for them. But yeah, as we always do, we go to Nerds for Life on Twitter. Make sure to follow this guy. He compiles a couple guys who go to the training sessions and just get some notes together, and basically, just puts it into one little note thing like this, and he posts it, and it's just a good insight to and a good idea of how do you feel about going for these certain players. So unfortunately, the only two that we've got for Essendon were on November and December, so nothing for the month of February or January. So to be fair, it is about a month, 2 months behind, 3 months behind, but that's okay. We can live with that. It's still good to just get a bit of information and ideas of what your team structure might look like going into the season. But we can have a read for this. Wonderful players returned. This was the November one. Zach Merritt normally returns early. No show because looks like he had a personal event going on. Binns dominated the 2 kilometre time trial. Roberts came second. Clark came third. Roberts is going to be a really good one. Nick Cox has been cleared to return full preseason training. Ridley moved well, looked strong and clean. Rehab group. Martin, of course, we know Martin's out for the year now, which is very disappointing. He would have been a really good option in that forward line, I'll be honest, and it really would have captivated, or not captivated, but might have really made the forward line a stronger look going into 2026 when you've got Sheasel, Petrarca and Rankin. You get the fourth guy in Martin. You get a guy from the midfield who might get the forward status. And then your sixth guy could be a Philippou. Oh, Flanders as well. Sorry, that's your sixth done. Anyways, Lewis Hayes, Tom Edwards, who did their ACLs last year, I'm pretty sure. They both did knee injuries. McGrath, Redmond, Langford, Caldwell, and Peter Wright returned early. Fiorini came back as well, started with his new club, and Mackay looked to have trimmed down, which is good. And for December 14th, we've got Dyson Sharp continues to impress running ability, potential with a Dusty like. Don't argue, I don't like that. We need Dusty again. Farrow, pure class. It's good to hear. Vigo, Vicentini, and Blackiston went head on in the ruck contest. We will get to Blackiston in a moment as well. Both could be strong. Could be options for starting 2026. Kako's work rate's been outstanding. Elijah Sardis, I'll get to him in a tick, but it's just I can't go with him. Darcy Parish heavily involved in CBAs. A lot for him. Archie Roberts dangerous across half back, which is really nice. We got Langford, Caddy, Fiorini, Clark, May, Newen were others who impressed. Key defenders and forwards. Ben Mackay and Peter Wright appear to be fit too. Cool. So shout out to those guys that did the track watch. Shout out to Nerds for Life putting it together. So that's giving you an idea about what Essendon guys you could look to get. So we'll start from defence to onwards. We got Redmond at 5'14", 400. Probably going to say a no. When you think about your final six that you want it to be, you're thinking of Naz and Sinclair, the St Kilda boys. You've got Whitfield and Ash. Ash is a maybe. I'm not sure if, hopefully he can continue on. But, two of the GWS guys, you've got Rosie and Clark, who are your top six. You throw in Colby McKercher in that. You could throw in Archie Roberts in that too. There's just some people... and there's probably other defenders as well, like a Josh Dacos as well, you can put in there. So there's a lot of options. I'm probably going to say no on Redmond. There's a reason why 0% of people are going with him. Andy McGrath, going to be the same thing with Redmond. Look, 450k, not really much difference. Probably taking on the captaincy role, which is good. Might elevate him with more confidence with the footy. I'm not sure. Not that he's not a not confident guy, but maybe his average goes up for being a captain now. But someone I really wanted to talk about was Archie Roberts. Obviously, we read from the Nerds for Life summary is that he has been dominating off halfback, obviously with Nick Martin out. Andrew McGrath's the other guy, but, Archie Roberts is a bit more of an accumulator than McGrath. So it'll be exciting to see. It's a 4% pod play. When you look at McKercher, who's like about 30%, I've got McKercher because I'd rather not take a risk on a Roberts compared to McKercher because I would have a feeling that McKercher will just like ball out instead of more than Roberts. But wouldn't be surprised, and I'm hoping for this 4% of you guys that are going for him. Not even a bad option, in my opinion. Zach Reid, he was amazing last year for me and for other people who jumped on him. He was at 120k, rose to about 400k. Beautiful. He's the definition of what a rookie should be doing for you. Getting early on that value at the start, and then selling him high right towards the end. I know he got injured, but selling him at the right time where you get rid of him and you can easily trade him and another rookie or another mid-pricer to a primo. Very nice what he did, but unfortunately, here's a no-go for me and for you guys, in my opinion, this year. Jordan Ridley, last year he was a bit more popular, just there, or the year before as well. It's just hard to say yes to this guy because he's just so injury prone. I know it says he's been looking like he's been fitting well, but look, he's one injury away from kind of ruining your season there because he kind of, as you can see, he only played 10 games last year, so look, could ruin it for you. Jackson Pryor, who's the other Essendon guy who was very good across halfback for SuperCoach Y, started at 120k or something like that, ended on about 370, if not. Man, I think he got up to 400k or something like that. So, yeah, good on him. Played all games of the year as well. You're not going to be getting him, so wouldn't bother. Angus Clark is the same thing. Look, 319k. I don't see him averaging much more, so probably don't go with him. And Blackerson. I mean, we could talk about him more in the ruckman, but they've been talks about Peter Wright, obviously Nick Bryan, Visentini, and Blackerson. Those are the four names that have been rumoured for that starting ruck role. I think Peter Wright, as weeks go by, will be obviously full forward, will be the main target for Essendon. Bryan is still injured. I think he will be for the first couple of rounds. I think maybe when they don't have a bye. That's the other thing. So maybe when teams get back on their bye rounds, you go down to Bryan at 250k. I will be looking at bringing him in if he is the number one ruck. Same with Visentini. Maybe at that flex position, which would be nice. But at this moment, I would keep a firm eye on Essendon rucks going into the preseason games. Obviously, Bryan's not going to be there, and see how they're working. If it's Blackerson, just at 295k, I can't see myself going that route. So that's just in my opinion. But if it was Bryan Visentini, when Bryan comes back, I'm definitely going to be I reckon I'll definitely bring him in. Wait after a couple of rounds, and he can definitely make you some money. Visentini is a maybe, and Wright, I'm just going to say no. We could talk about other defenders, but we talk about them when we get to the flex position of guys we didn't talk about. But let's go to the midfield. So Zach Merritt, obviously try to get to Hawthorn over the off-season, and both teams couldn't get to an agreement, which has been unfortunate. So we couldn't get Zach Merritt in the Hawthorn colours. Just a bit of change of scenery for him. But I still believe he'll have this 107 average. I understand why people don't go for him. I don't have him because I think there'll be other guys who'll be averaging more than him and more likely to be there. Essendon also might experiment some stuff like playing some younger guys in the midfield, just getting a bit of a better mix there, which is good. So, look, it's not that they're going to be taking his value, but I just don't be surprised if it goes down to about 100. They could play him off halfback if McGrath or Roberts get injured throughout the season, because they did try and do that last year as well. Jai Caldwell, an interesting pod. A few super coach guys have been talking about him as a potential option. The only issue for me is that he is injury prone, and I don't think he'll be like he's once again. It's the same with Ridley. Like he's one injury away from kind of ruining your season. Um, so 545k, you're 20k away from Errol Goulden, who's one a lot more fitter and two can average a lot more than him. That's just my opinion. So I probably go with Goulden. If you've got an extra 20k, you go with Goulden, for example, over Caldwell. Not to say, like, he is actually a good player. Don't get me wrong. And he can average high scores, but it's just a high risk, high reward guy. We can have a look at his highest scores because I think his floor is not too bad. It's around an 80. Oh, no, it's a 40. Yeah, look at that 129, 118. Had a really nice run here from Richmond to Freo. Then obviously had the bye, and then I think he got injured again against Gold Coast. So just be careful what you want to do with him next for this season. Fiorini is a guy you could see him in the midfield. I don't know how the midfield mix is going to work for Essendon because they've got so many guys that have the potential to go in there. You've got obviously Merritt, Caldwell, who might come off from half forwards. Same with Fiorini. They might kind of swap Caldwell and Fiorini because I feel like they kind of play kind of similarly. Like they're both kind of brutes, smaller brutes, which is good. And same with Sam Durham. You got Will Setterfield on the wing, Dersman on the other wing, and you got Parrish who's coming back, and the three rookies as well. I know Farah might come off half back, and Sharp, I know they'll definitely play in the middle, and Roby might be a forward. So that being said, I wouldn't go with Fiorini. There's a reason why 1% of people are going with him. Sam Durham, I absolutely love him. He's probably my favourite player on Essendon. Just wears his heart on his sleeve. And just doesn't care. Like he's a super competitor, and he really does try. And I really like how he plays. So, but for SuperCoach, I'm not going to go for him. Setterfield, he's a winger. I wouldn't go for him either. Dersma, wouldn't go for him. Darcy Parish. So these next, what is it? 4 out of the 5 are going to be interesting. So, the next 4 because we already talked about Angus Clark. But Parish, Darcy Parish. Let's have a look at his past averages. He is 27 or 28 this year, so he's not even like old, or he's not like, in his 30s coming back from just like constant injuries. But we look at his past years, like an 88 last year over 3 games, an 89 the year before over 12 games. But you look at these last, his last healthy season was in 2021, and he's averaged 114. I think he can definitely get back to it because also Zach Merritt, teammate, obviously, put up his SuperCoach team up, and it had Darcy Parish there. So, yeah, look, I think that kind of gives you a good sign that he's going to be really good value, in my opinion. So I actually can't wait for Darcy Parish to, can't wait for Darcy Parish to play again. Sorry, a bit silent there, just reading my phone messages. I should probably put it on Do Not Disturb. All right, Dyson Sharp. We look at percentage, 63% of the community have got him for good reason. I think he's playing round 1, and he looks like he's playing well. So, across pre-season, it'd be disappointing if they didn't play him. It's the same with Roby and Farrow. Like, Farrow, 25%. I don't have him in my team because there's just too many guys around that, like, 140 to like 200 price, where that doesn't allow you to like if you cut all those down to rookies that are around 110, 120, you can get better primos up here. So that's why I only got one of Dyson Sharp there. But yeah, Farrow's also going to be a good option, I feel, coming off half back or just for the back line in general. He definitely will make you at least 150k, which is nice. And Sullivan Roby, I'm going to be hesitant on because he's just a little bit not injury prone. He's just picked up a couple injuries towards the back end of last year and preseason again. He's a big body, so it's going to be it might be the Sam Lawler story where Lawler just is battling injuries throughout preseason and during the season, and he doesn't play all games. I've got a feeling that's going to be Sullivan Roby, and then next year he might even be a better option for you. Talking about the rucks, Brian. Like I said, we'll go over it very quickly. I will pick him when he comes back to the side because he'll be the number one ruck there. Visentini, it just depends on Brian's timeline. Like if Nick Bryan's missing the first 6 games, get all the just milk all the cash out of Visentini and swap it to Nick Bryan. Save about maybe hopefully 100k, 75k going down to Nick Bryan, and Nick Bryan can just excel at his role. Blackiston probably wouldn't go with, and Wright, who's been rumoured to do that as well, wouldn't go for. Forward lines for Essendon, going to be very quick. Wright, not going to go with. Kako, also not going to go with. Jade Gresham, not going to go with. Archie Perkins, not going to go with. Nate Caddy, I wouldn't go for. Kyle Langford, wouldn't go for. Harry Jones, wouldn't go for. Look at this. Other than Sully Roby, look, 1% of people have got Caddy, Kako, and Perkins. The rest are 0. So put that into perspective. Do not have any of these Essendon forwards, in my opinion. Now let's go over the guys that will be who I didn't mention. So Nick Martin's not playing all year. That opens up a spot for either halfback, which is Archie Roberts, or a midfield spot as well. So Archie Roberts in the midfield, and then there's the 23rd spot with the new rules, scrapping the subs. So there's now 5 on the bench, which means they could probably play an extra centre bounce appearance guy. Or they might move Merritt down back, have Roberts on the bench, and whoever's on the bench go in the middle, something like that, and then just do a rotation there. Anyone else that I didn't talk about? Zach Johnson played 9 games, going to say no. Reason why 0% would go with him, and Archer May wouldn't go with him either. Guelphy, no. Mackay, no. El Hooley, no. Sardis, oh, he frustrates me. I think he needs to leave Essendon, go somewhere better. I think it's his kicking that's the main problem that people have the critique on. He dominates VFL. I don't think it's worth it having on your team. So, yeah, look, don't do it to yourself. Don't bring in Sardis. McMahon, going to say no. Hayes, Newen, no. Cox, I don't like. I'm not a fan of how he plays. I feel like he plays a little bit scared. So that's not a diss on him or anything. And I know he's been very injury prone over his first few years in AFL system. But I'm going to have to say no. 134k is looking nice at 1%. But you're going to have to say no to that. Daywicks, no. Edwards, no. Guerin, no. Unwin, no. We've got L. Achkar, no. Kondianis, no. And Burke, no as well. So that's Essendon. That is Essendon for you. They don't have an early buy either, so just keep that into perspective. If you're going to bring a guy like Robertson, if you're going to pod with Merritt or Caldwell, that's about it. But yeah, normally let's do our top. I'll do my top 5 picks out of the Essendon side. I think number 1 is going to be definitely Darcy Parish. I think number 2 is Dyson Sharp. Number 3 is going to be Archie Roberts. We'll say tied 4th is Merritt and Caldwell, and number 5 can be Farrow. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So that's probably my top 5. Honourable mentions are all the rucks of Bryan and Visentini. So there are a few options that the Essendon side can offer you for your Supercoach team in 2026. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if I missed out on any guys that you wanted me to talk about. Is there any guys that you don't rate that I've been talking a little bit about? Tell me anything about anything about today's video. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.